You have to understand that you have to put in the time and the practice to get good at head movement. But consider this a long-term investment, because these are techniques that you're going to be using for the rest of your martial arts career. Hey guys, Coach Vic here from the Thai Boxing Institute of Mar Vista, California. And today we're going to go over intermediate punch defense, which is learning how to slip and duck under punches. Learning how to slip and duck punches is super important in any sort of combat sport. This is going to add another layer to your defense repertoire. The goal of a well-executed slip or duck is to have your opponent miss and you capitalize on the opening that they create from missing the punch. Mastering head movement will also keep you safe and healthy by avoiding unnecessary head trauma that you'll experience in any sort of combat sport. It's also going to make your style a lot more slicker and I think beautiful aesthetically. Let's talk about safety first. Whenever you're initiating any sort of head movement against punches, you have to avoid exaggerating your movement. All head movement has to be very slight, very subtle, and timing is of the most importance. When we're slipping punches, we have to understand where we're going to get hit. Right? When you're throwing straight punches, right, the jab and the cross, you have to understand that what we're trying to do is we're trying to target down the center line. It could be anywhere from like the top of the head to the nose down to the chin. It's a straight line. When I throw straight punches, a jab or a cross, right, I'm making a triangle with my left and with my right, and my chest is the base of the triangle, and I'm trying to hit down the middle, the apex, the point of the triangle. Me as a person that's defending against the straight punches, I'm trying to get to the outside of that triangle. First technique we're going to go over is slipping the right hand to our left side. So let's start in our fight stance. Hands up, chin down, legs shoulder width apart. I want to time their step for the right punch with my step for the left slip. Here in my fight stance, I see their punch coming. I understand that I'm going to get hit somewhere here down the center line. What I'm trying to do then is I'm going to remove my head off of that center line. How do I do that? Slip, step to the outside, turn my torso, and effectively I've slipped the right punch by removing the target. Back to stance. Let's look at that again. Hands up, fight stance. See the right punch coming, step, slip. Back to stance. Okay, when I step, I load my weight on my lead leg so as to keep myself based and balanced. It's possible to be able to slip in place once you've sort of got your repetitions in with practicing this technique. But to start off, I recommend taking a slight step to the outside so you keep your base and your balance. Fight stance, hands up, chin down, legs shoulder width apart. I see that right punch coming. I take a step to the outside, turn my torso, slip, back to stance. Slipping the left punch works in a similar manner. Yet again, what we're doing is we're removing that target off of the center line. When I slip either the right or the left, you have to understand that we're not just moving our head, but we're using our whole body to move the head off of the targeted center line. Okay? You want to avoid exaggerating your movement like so, or weaving around, right? It's really simple. You just gotta be calm, time it, take that slight step out, turn your torso. So let's look on how to slip off the left punch to our right. Hands up, fight stance, legs shoulder width apart. I see that left punch coming. They take that step, I time their step with my step. Now, instead of using the left leg to slip, I'm going to use my right leg, my rear leg. I'm going to take a slight step laterally. Right? As you can already see, my head starts to move. Now, when I take that step, I move my torso along with it slightly, and I have my head off the center line. Back to stance. Let's look at that again. Hands up, chin down, legs shoulder width apart. We're in our fight stance. I see that left punch coming. They take that step. I take a step laterally with my rear leg, turn my torso, slip, back to stance. One more time. Step, slip, back to stance. Second technique we're going to go over is how to duck under hooks. We have to be very subtle and very slight with our movement. Whether we slip or duck under punches, we just want to feel the wisp of the punch kind of brush off of the side of our guard or even the top of the head in the instance for hooks. So starting our fight stance, hands up, chin down, legs shoulder width apart, right? We're going to go over how to defend against the right hook by ducking under. We have to time their step, their movement with our step and our movement. Fight stance, hands up, chin down, legs shoulder width apart. They throw a right hook. I step slightly to my left. Once I take a step, I duck under, slightly turn my torso, shift my weight to my back leg. Back to stance. What I like to imagine is I have a marker on my nose, and when I execute the duck under, I'm drawing the slight U under their hook. You want to visualize it, hands up, chin down. They take that step for the hook, or they swing the hook. I duck under slightly, shift weight, turn, keep myself based and balanced. Look at my back leg, look at my torso turn, and I can just shift myself back into stance. One more time. Step, duck under, step back to stance. Left hook works similar, right? If we're moving to our right, we're not switching our stance, but we're moving in a lateral manner so that that step is able to keep us based and balanced, whether we want to be able to move afterwards or counter attack. So starting our fight stance, hands up, chin down, legs shoulder width apart. I time their movement with my movement. I take that lateral step with my right leg, duck under, draw that U, pop up, very slight, back to stance. Remember to engage your torso, take that step, and look at how my weight shifts to keep myself based and balanced. Hands up, legs shoulder width apart. They take a step, I duck under, draw that U, back to stance. One more time, back to stance. I'm going to give you 4 combinations to practice your head movement. Each of the combinations, you're going to practice the defense and a counter punch to develop your counter attack or offensive reflexes. Remember, it's okay to just use head movement or just defend a strike, but ultimately you're doing yourself a disservice by not practicing how to counter. Especially with head movement, what's happening is you're making your opponent miss. So what you want to do is also be able to recognize those opportunities and capitalize on them by practicing counterattacks. Let's start off with slipping. Now, I need you to really visualize that center line and you moving your head off of that center line when you practice any of the slipping techniques. Remember, when we slip, we want to keep our guard up and tight. Don't slip and telegraph your counter. Got that? First combination. Jab, slip, hook, back to stance. Jab, step, slip, hook, back to stance. Jab, step, slip, hook, back to stance. One more time. Jab, slip, hook, back to stance. Second combination. 1, 2, slip to your right, counter with the right cross. Starting a fight stance, hands up, chin down. Throw the 1, 2, 1, 2. Right leg steps, slip, shift your weight, step, cross, counter. 1, 2, slip, step, cross, counter. One more time. 1, 2, step, slip, cross, counter, back to stance. Third combination now, we're moving over to ducking under hooks. Remember to take that step, very subtle with your movement, draw that U, counter, back to stance. So similar like the first two combinations, the first one's going to start off with the jab. We're going to duck under, throw a left hook counter, back to our stance. Combo 3, jab, step, duck under, left hook, back to stance. Jab, step, duck under, hook, back to stance. When we duck under, very subtle. Keep your opposite hand up, the left side. Don't telegraph. And then when you come up, don't lead with your chin. Always come up with your guard ready to throw the hook. Jab, step, slip, hook, back to stance. Fourth combination. 1, 2, duck under to the right, step, cross, counter. Combo 4, 1, 2, step, duck, step, cross, counter. 1, 2, step, duck, step, cross, counter. One more time. 1, 2, step, duck, step, cross, counter, back to stance. I suggest performing these 4 combinations back to back all together for a full 3-minute round. Common mistakes. I know that was a lot. You have to understand that you have to put in the time and the practice to get good at head movement. But consider this a long-term investment, because these are techniques that you're going to be using for the rest of your martial arts career. Number one thing is we're trying to avoid getting hit in the head, right? So don't make it easier by bringing your head closer to either their knee or their shin for a round kick, right? You have to understand that all the head movement is real subtle. Right? You slip to the side, you barely feel the wisp of the punch. You duck under, barely feel the wisp of their hook. Second thing is, don't telegraph your counters. If you're slipping, don't keep your opposite hand low and cocked ready. All right? Same thing with like ducking under here. Okay? You're leaving yourself exposed there. Your opponent can easily just throw a feint to bait you to committing yourself to the movement, and then throw a head kick on either side that they see that you're exposed. Second thing is, you got to step slightly in order for you to develop this sense of balance. Okay? Folding yourself at your spine to avoid getting hit, guess what? It's going to make it easier for you to get hit. And furthermore, it's going to knock you off balance, making you stumble. Okay? Put in the practice. I can't stress that enough. Okay? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you film yourself, tag us at the Thai Boxing Institute or use the hashtag TBI Home Workout, and I'll critique your technique. I promise I'll be nice. Thank you for watching.